at Revelation 17. We're going to make it through before school starts, one way or another. One of the 7 angels who had poured out the 7 bowls came over and spoke to me. "Come with me," he said. "I will show you the judgment that is going to come on the great prostitute who rules over many waters. The kings of the world have committed adultery with her, and the people who belong to this world have been made drunk by the wine of her immorality." So the angel took me in the spirit into the wilderness. In the New Living, it's actually capitalized, but it's not over in the King James. Interesting. Spirit, anyway. Took me in the spirit into the wilderness. There I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that had 7 heads and 10 horns. And we heard the 7 heads and 10 horns quite a few times by now. I believe we have. We're gonna have to go through at the end and write down all the similarities. That is definitely something we hear a lot about. 7 heads, 10 horns, and blasphemies against God were written all over it. The woman wore purple and scarlet clothing and beautiful jewelry made of gold and precious gems and pearls. In her hand she held a golden goblet full of obscenities, nasty stuff, and the impurities of her immorality. I don't know if I said it. A mysterious name was written on her forehead. Babylon the Great. Here we are with the Babylon again. Mother of all prostitutes and obscenities in the world. I could see that she was drunk with the blood of God's holy people who were witnesses for Jesus. I stared at her in complete amazement. Drunk with the blood. I'm just reading King James. The blood of the martyrs of Jesus. King James says the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, who, I assume if you're drinking their blood, that means they died, yeah, but just don't make it that clear in the New Living, so. Stared at her in complete amazement. "Why are you so amazed?" the angel asked. "I will tell you the mystery of this woman and of the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns on which she sits. The beast you saw was once alive, but isn't now, and yet he will soon come up out of the bottomless pit and go to eternal destruction. And the people who belong to this world, whose names are not written in the book of life before the world was made, whose names were, past tense, whose names were not written in the book of life before the world was made, will be amazed at the reappearance of this beast who had died." This calls for a mind of, behold the beast who was and is not and yet is. Okay, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Died and is alive again. This calls for a mind with understanding. The 7 heads of the beast represent the 7 hills where the woman rules. There are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Okay. They also represent 7 kings. 5 kings have already fallen. The 6th now reigns, and the 7th is yet to come, but his reign will be brief. The scarlet beast that was, but is no longer, is the 8th king. Okay, 8 now. He is like the other 7, and he too is headed for destruction. The 10 horns of the beast are the 10 kings who have not yet risen to power. They will be appointed to their kingdoms for one brief moment to reign with the beast. Seems like we read something very similar to that somewhere else. They will all agree to give him their power and authority. Together they will go to war against the Lamb. But the Lamb will defeat them because he is Lord of all lords and King of all kings. And his called and chosen and faithful ones will be with him. Yeehaw. Then the angel said to me, the waters where the prostitute is ruling represent masses of people of every nation and language. And that whenever you see the word sea, sits on many waters, sometimes I'm told you should think sea of people, okay? But I don't know, that's just something somebody told me. But that's, here he's, the angel says, the waters represent masses of people. So, obviously, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So, yeah, they're not twisting it from King James there. All right, the scarlet beast and his 10 horns all hate the prostitute. Okay. They will strip her, oh my, eat her flesh and burn her remains with fire. For God has put a plan into their minds, a plan that will carry out his purposes. They will agree to give their authority to the scarlet beast, and so the words of God will be fulfilled. And this woman you saw in your vision represents the great city that rules over the kings of the world. Interesting stuff. What does it all mean? I like I guess, we need to remember. Verse 14, I think, is the most important verse. Why? Because we win. Together they will go to war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will defeat them, because he is Lord of all lords and King of all kings. If we don't understand all this stuff, one, we can ask God for wisdom. I'm sure there's a ton of books written. I don't know which ones I would believe and which ones I wouldn't. That's up to you. But here, verse 14 is pretty stinking clear. All right. And his called and chosen and faithful ones will be with him. All right. That's us. King James, if you love King James more, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Boom. That's right there. That's the verse we shall highlight. So I can remember that one later. The seven heads and 10 horns stuff. We've read that so many times I don't think I can forget it. That's and what it represents. 5 kings have already fallen. The 6th now reigns, and the 7th is yet to come. And then the scarlet beast that was, but is no longer, is the 8th king. He's like the other 7. And he too is headed for destruction. All right. That is that chapter. So, we shall talk to you all next time, huh? Have a good night.